So there are different prosperities, and in our day, we see that prosperity and becoming rich comes at the price of taking advantage of others. An example could be like, let's say you work for the Pepsi company or the vaccine or pharmaceutical company. Well, you might be good at your job and you might be using good skills, but the product, what you're producing, is damaging to people's health. So your prosperity is coming through Luciferian principles or satanic ways. But the person can be an okay person. It doesn't mean that the person's bad. Now, in the Book of Mormon, in the time after Jesus came, it's in a book called Fourth Nephi. There's this phrase in there. It's a very interesting phrase. It says, "And everybody was prosperous, everybody was rich through the prosperity of Christ." And I think I understand what that means now. What it means is, I don't understand it completely, but I think I understand what it means is there are two ways of becoming rich. There is, you're in the wrong kind of group, the wrong kind of culture, and you become rich, but your riches come through evil means. Now, especially if your number one goal is to be rich, because if your number one goal is to be rich, you might be willing to cheat, lie, or you might be willing to be part of a corporation that cheats and lies and harms other people. Now, the people of the Nephites, they were completely honest and they shared everything and they looked out for each other. So they were looking out for the poor, they were concerned for the poor, and whenever they made money, whenever they produced a product, they did it honestly and they made sure it didn't hurt anybody in the process. So, they would use the right chemicals if they were creating things chemically, if they were making clothes, they made sure that the people that were making them were getting paid right. So I love what it's teaching us. It's teaching us that okay, being rich is fine, but it's saying how you're obtaining your riches. And I'm really worried about America because there's a lot of rich people in America, but the way that those riches have come about is through very corrupt means. So let's say you take the top four, you take maybe the top 4 ways that people become rich. So I'm going to say medical, military, and then business, and then, okay, I'll just take those 3. So like business could include medical, but business could be food too, like the food industry. So medical, the food industry, and the military. Well, our military is corrupt. It's very wicked, very satanic. Even though most people in the military think that this is a very good military. So I'll focus on the food, I guess. So there's a lot of rich people in this country who work for food industries. So, Pepsi, Walmart, I'm talking about like, managers, salesmen, people who are making a lot of money. in the food industries. Oh, okay, so like people involved in agriculture, they're rich, but they're getting their money from an organization that harms people. So we live in a very weird way of getting rich. And I'm not blaming people, there's good people who are rich and they might not know that the company they work for, they might not know that they're harming people. People who work for pharmaceuticals, people who work for Pepsi or like Walmart, they might just be dumb. They might just be ignorant that, the pesticides and the way that our food is grown and processed is very damaging to health. But anyway, I just think that that's really cool that the Book of Mormon points that out, that you can get rich one of two ways. You can get rich through the right way, which is being kind to others and being part of a system that doesn't harm anybody. So that's called being prosperous through Christ, and being honest, not taking advantage of anybody, and earning your money honestly. And a lot of Mormons work for corrupt businesses. The other way to become rich is you're in a corrupt system. You look the other way. You don't think about your company. I think a lot of rich people don't think about whether their company is legitimate or if it's harming anybody.